When it comes to deck boxes for your Magic the Gathering, Pokémon, and other standard-sized trading cards, a box is just a box, isn't it? Actually, no. As we've seen over the years, there is a wide range of options, both in price and quality, each striving to offer you the best protection for your collection. This video will compare and contrast the Toyger Foldable Deck Slimmer, gem accessories offerings of the Deck Tech TCG Deck Box, and their takeout flip box, the Game Shell Transport Case by GameGenic, and the new Archive 800 Plus. But with so many choices, some are better than others, sometimes by a lot. Let's take a look. Let's begin with Toyger. The Toyger Deck Slimmer is an innovative new design that allows you to fold your deck into a slender rectangle. I'm already against this idea, but let's see how it works. The Toyger is fully collapsible, and strategically placed magnets guide its frame to snap into a more traditional deck box shape, then snap back into place, sliding your deck in the process, and offering a slim and slender container that can hold up to 120 double-sleeved cards. So, hang on. 120 double-sleeved cards? That's one double-sleeved commander deck plus room for tokens. 120 won't hold two standard or modern decks with sideboard, nor will the 140 single-sleeved card capacity of the Toyger. So really, while maybe you can squeeze in two standard decks if one doesn't have a sideboard and both are single-sleeved, this really sounds like you can put a deck and a little excess in here. All this to squeeze in 1.5 decks. And squeeze is the key word, because even when working correctly, I can feel the initial pressure upon the cards, guiding them, yes, guiding them, but also through push to fold and slide to conform to the Toyger's shifting shape. It's not a dangerous pressure, they just collapse and fold in under it, but it is a pressure. There is some pushing upon the cards. When done correctly, it's a push in the right direction. However, if not done correctly, snap. I want to point out this is not a common result, but it is a result I can reproduce in playing around with the Toyger. The fact that it can happen at all, even rarely, still disinterests me from this deck box. Why take the chance? What is the upside to such a risk? Even if you want to view this as holding two standard decks, which I argue it does not, how is this any more compact than, say, an Ultra Pro dual deck box, which comes in sizes for both holding two double-sleeved standard decks with sideboard, or two single-sleeved commander decks, not to mention the low price? The Toyger has removable dice containers that do cleverly fold up with the main box, but while these hold small D6s and counters, they cannot fit a spin down, and honestly, I find the size and shape of these containers somewhat awkward. The Toyger also requires that both its top and bottom be held together entirely by magnets, which means that there is double a chance of disaster. I would not recommend playing around with the Toyger in your hands. Use it only when holding it upon a solid flat surface, and be careful picking it up while open, or else... And all else aside, that's really what it comes down to. The Toyger is claiming that the reason you buy it is for deck slimming, deck compactness, but I actually feel that a simple solution like the Pro Duel, which again is available for either 75 card or 100 card double-sleeved decks, Ultra Pro, very low price point, and I think this is more compact than the Toyger. If you're talking about something of this size, it's not that much more space to use something like the GameGenic or Ultimate Guard Dual Flip and Tray. This is holding each of these 200 double-sleeved Commander decks. And well, yes, it's a little bit larger, not by much. We're talking about a slight thickness increase, and you get so much more in one of these fantastic deck boxes, which you can check out my detailed reviews on. At a price of about $39.99, I cannot recommend the Toyger. Again, it's not a guarantee to catch your cards, but the possibility alone makes this a D for me. It's too loose, too likely to drop cards, and doesn't provide much more than gimmick. I do not recommend. Next up, a double offering from GemTech Accessories, starting with the Takeout, a deck box aesthetic for those taking their decks on the go. The Takeout is, well, I know this is supposed to be the innovation video, but it's pretty much just a basic top-loading flip box, whose main feature is the designer exterior and single slot for finger access. Now, warning in advance, I do not think any that you purchase will say sample on the bottom, but hey, mine is signed. Holds a little over a double-sleeved Commander deck and an overall strong shell. The finger access is only on the front side and thus not too useful for getting your deck in and out. And like most flip boxes, the lid does not hold on tight with a shake. If you've watched many of my previous deck box review videos, you know that I've always been lukewarm on the basic flip box, and I'm going to always disclose that. It's not my favorite design. However, even among basic flip boxes, there's a lot missing from this, namely that this little indent here for my fingers to get a grip doesn't do much good if it isn't on both sides. We've reached the point, I feel, where these flaps become a problem. It's not going to hold shut to much of a shake test. And furthermore, when the alternatives are things such as the GameGenic, where we can just put the flaps on the bottom so that they're not in the way, where we have that wonderful handhold on both sides, and where, of course, it's going to hold up to a shake, to a drop a lot better. I think that the only reason you're going to buy this particular deck box from Gem is because you like the design, and there's nothing wrong with that. You want the Takeout design, you're going to get this box. But as far as function is concerned, I'm not seeing much here more than a basic flip box, and that's exactly the grade it's going to get. What I do like from Gem is this Mortifier deck tech style, which unfolds to offer 150 double-sleeved capacity, meaning that if you divide it up between the two compartments, you can put two double-sleeved 75-card decks with sideboard in here, or just a double-sleeved Commander deck with room for tokens. I like the side compartment, which opens to hold dice, or if you like, unsleeved tokens. And the way the entire box folds up into itself actually makes this a more compact design than the Toyger deck Slimmer. Maybe not as slim, but at least it holds more cards and holds them relatively safely. A minor point is that I dislike that Gem decided to stick their logo so prominently in the middle of the rather attractive interior skull and rose imaging. For someone who may like that skull and rose design, I imagine they'd be disappointed to have to also have a corporate logo so prominent in their desired artwork. The glue job on this is rather average, which is to say rather meh. We can see clearly visible glued on spots that leave corners somewhat vulnerable. It's not immediately coming apart under pressure like we've seen other boxes in the past do, but long-term play will likely have some curls on those corners. So while this isn't excellent, it's very good and a B grade, though I must give the average Takeout box an average C. As always, ask your local game stores about acquiring these if interested, but I will also include links to the online ordering options in this video's description. Last year saw GameGenic hit the deck box scene with some of my favorite new designs. Here I'm looking at their Game Shell transport cases, the Game Shell 650 Plus and 250 Plus. Perfect for transporting and storing everything from sleeved and unsleeved cards to even just taking your favorite deck boxes on the go. The Game Shell offers portability, safety, and protection for the most used parts of your collection. Each shell comes with shoulder straps and two small removable dividers, so you can store your deck or just deck boxes with ease. Exterior is a nylon mesh and basic zipper system, and the interior also has a mesh compartment for notepads or other small, loose odds and ends. The obvious comparison with the game shell is the quiver and quiver bolt. You'll be paying about $10 to $15 more for the quiver line, but I do feel you're also getting a lot more in terms of quality of materials and construction. Interestingly, the main quiver holds about 20 cards less than the game shell counterpart, while the quiver bolt holds about 50 cards more, which I like a lot, since it means the quiver bolt can fit 3 double-sleeved commander decks, but the game shell's only going to hold about 2.5. The main noticeable difference is that the game shells each come with a built-in handle, whereas the quiver only has strap options. I did also notice that putting cards in the game shell 650 plus was often a little bit more difficult. Nothing major, but the game shell 250 plus didn't have this problem at all. It appears a little wider, and so that was a bit of a turnoff to me about the game shell 650. So yes, the obvious comparison is to the quivers, and I do feel that the quivers are the superior of the two. The biggest advantage that you're going to get with the GameGenic over the quiver is this handle here. That's your number one selling point and reason to go with the GameGenic over a quiver. I think the quiver does have better overall materials, a better overall interior. We of course have the water resistance and the water seal zippers, which these do not have, but we don't have a handle. On the quivers, that may not be what you want, as this is largely for transport. Both have access to the shoulder straps. You get a little bit more in this fact that maybe you can walk around holding your GameGenic, but beyond that, and perhaps the fact that it's a little bit more compact than the quiver, but then again, that means that it's holding less. I'm still going to say that the quiver is the superior of the two, but nonetheless, this is a very good product in and of itself. All in all, the game shells are, at the very least, an affordable alternative to the quiver. Again, saving you about $10 to $15 with only a minor downgrade in materials. I like the quiver more, but I also acknowledge they cost more, and the game shell provides portable protection and safety for when you're on the go. Grade is a B+ on both. Next from Ultimate Guard is the Archive 800 Plus. No, that's not the Archive 800 Plus, that's just a classic archive. One of my favorite products, great for storing everything from a small cube to commander decks, to boulders and other small deck boxes. The Archive 800 Plus is basically two regular archives, a double wide if you will, with the added benefit of a latch. If you already know and love the Archive as I do, this is the same quality and pretty much product, just two of them made into one. I personally use Archive for storing my deck boxes and organizing them by format. I've got about 4, one for my Pauper decks, one for my Modern decks, one for Commander, and one that's a potpourri of Standard, Legacy, and my one Canadian Highlander deck. As with the Archive, the same Xeno skin exterior for both a stylized look and non-slip grip, and quality microfiber interior means you're getting excellent quality materials. But there is that one difference, the small yet functional latch to offer just a little bit more added safety against spills. Or does it? So the Archive 800 Plus really is straightforward. Do you know what the Archive is? Do you like the Archive? Well, this is a double row archive and not much more, but a little bit more in that archives do not have this new Ultimate Guard latch system that they're putting on a lot of their products, and the Archive 800 Plus does. Now, I have talked about this latch in previous videos. I don't think it's the best in that you can even see right here. It takes a little bit to get it to click into place, and even once it is clicked into place, it's just the most minor of catch for that latch. However, the Archive is not a travel product so much as it is a storage product. This is much more something that you keep to keep your boulders, to keep your deck boxes, to keep your collection organized at home, a nice thing to put on the shelf. And that's exactly what I and most people use it for. That's why we don't have a handle or straps. This isn't made for that type of transport. Nonetheless, even at home, when you're pulling this off the shelf, you don't want it to suddenly collapse under you. So the real question is, how well will this latch hold this enormous amount of weight? Again, these deck boxes are all full. This is heavy. I could do some exercise with this in just one hand. It's like a set of weights. You know how heavy cards can be. I'm going to make sure that latch is in. And again, that's the worst thing about it is I got to check. But if I know that that latch is in, let's see if just turning this upside down, it's not going to survive a shake, but just turning this upside down, if it holds, that right there is an advantage over the archive, which has no latch at all, and just the magnets, which aren't going to hold that big of a weight. And there we go. Again, I'm not pressing it. All right. I really don't want to lower it just a little bit because I don't want to damage my table or boxes, but how many little shakes can we get out of this? Just a little shake. I'm going to do there we go. Look at that. Look. Oh, snap. Oh, snap. So again, you pull this off the shelf. Oops, I pulled it off upside down. I put it on upside down. Whatever. I'm walking around. I got to run up the stairs. Oh, my friends are here, and I'm so excited to see human beings again. We're going to play some magic, and that lid is going to stay on. And yet easily, just click up, open, and you have your deck boxes, your cube, your collection. This holds top loaders. I get a lot of questions from people about what can hold top loaders. This will hold top loaders if you like. If you like the archive, then you very may need the Archive 800 Plus if you've got a larger collection of deck boxes and cards to store. Available in a wide variety of colors, the Archive 800 Plus is just as excellent as the Archive 400 Plus we've all come to know and love. It's just giving us more options and the small upgrade in terms of that latch. Grade is a solid A, just like the archives. I hope very much this video has been of some help to you. You can help me out by remembering to like, share, subscribe, or just by leaving a comment. What type of storage needs do you have that are still not yet being met? Let me know in the comments below.